In some of the previous videos, we talked about how to register for classes, to add additional classes, and to drop classes. In this video, I'd like to talk about some of the rules associated with dropping and adding classes. So before we do that, let's go to My LTC and we're going to choose the academic calendar because that's where all of this information is going to lead us. So let's go over to August. This will be the beginning of the semester. Our semester begins on August 16th. So the drop add period is the 3-day period. You can see drop add for fall of 2021. It's the 16th, 17th, and 18th of August. You have that 3-day period to drop and add classes. It's also called the no harm, no foul period, where there is no financial there's no financial harm to dropping a class. You just register for classes and then you pay for those classes by the payment deadline, which as you can see is right here on the 19th. So you want to make sure if you added a class on the 18th that you paid for it right away. So the drop add period is those 3 days. It's also a no harm, no foul period. So no harm in dropping those classes. There's also something called a no-show policy for attendance. And that no-show policy says that within that first 3 days or the first week of classes, you need to be in class. If you do not show up for class, then you will be counted as what we call a no-show. A no-show is a student who didn't come to class and you'll be dropped from the class. So we often have a no-show deadline that the faculty will submit those no-show students, and then those students get dropped from the class. So make sure that you make it to class if it's a face-to-face class, if it's a virtual class. If it's an online class, simply logging into Blackboard is not good enough. You have to do the no-show assignment or the first week assignment, whatever your instructor calls it. Make sure that you do that so that you don't get dropped from the class. There is a reinstatement procedure, so in order to be reinstated into a class, a student will need to contact his or her instructor. So if you have missed the first 2 to 3 weeks, it's up to the instructor whether or not they will let you in. It depends on whether or not they think that you can catch up with the rest of the class. There is a late registration fee of $45 that may be applied for something like that. Let's talk about withdrawing after the 3rd day. So this drop add period, the 16th through the 18th, you can still withdraw from classes after that point, but you will have already paid for them, or financial aid will have already been applied. So if you drop a class after that drop add period, you maybe want to check with financial aid before doing so, because there could be some financial aid implications. It could affect your financial aid completion rate, but you would normally receive a W. So your grade would be W. There's no GPA effect, but financial aid is a different story. And that's through the first 60% of classes. Normally, the last day to withdraw from classes is on the calendar. I don't see it on this calendar, but it's usually probably going to be you reach the halfway point. So when you get to the 60% point, that's usually going to be the cutoff. So after the 60% point, you can no longer withdraw from a class. So any student who stops attending after that point will receive a grade of what we call WF, and it works just like an F on your GPA and so forth. So it's the same thing as if you had withdrawn from the class. And I think that's just about it.